You want to know if Daiyan is going to be good or not? Well, short answer is no. She was the first banner on the CN side, and she was power crept pretty fast. She does have some niche uses, but in my opinion, she isn't worth pulling for unless you just really like the character. If that's all you came for, thanks for watching, see you in the next one. But if you want a deeper dive into our flowery doll here, I'm Shrike, let's get right into it. So Daiyan is an assault rifle wielding physical damage dealer. You heard me right. She has no elemental effects in her kit, which is a back-breaking handicap. In fact, it might be the entire reason she's so subpar. The rest of her kit actually seems okay on paper. Her active skill 1 is a Dispelling Strike that strips 1 buff off of the enemy. The only other doll I can think of that can do that is Vepli. This ability is great for bosses, as is her ability to do very respectable stability break damage. Looking at her skills, it may not seem so, but if we take a look at her active skill 2, we can see a few keywords, namely tuning, pitch perfect, and extra command. We know what extra command does, but the others, tuning is a stackable effect that grants her increasing crit rate and crit damage, 3% with each stack, and Pitch Perfect allows her to deal stability damage equal to the amount of those stacks. So she will be able to shred defense unlike most dolls we have access to, except Sharkry, the break goddess. And Sharkry has an element, so good luck topping her, Daiyan. Another thing that tuning does is gives her an extra movement after she attacks. She's going to excel in mobility, much like Ulrid does at the moment. Physical damage, high mobility, but where Ulrid can dash through solid objects and turn invisible, Daiyan can just strip buffs off and deal solid stability damage. Not too flashy if you ask me. It should be mentioned though that her light ammo classification means that the light ammo buff from the platoon boss will be synergistic with her. If you do choose to get her for whatever reason, I'd advise against getting her weapon. It isn't worth it, especially if you have Planeta, which is a very solid choice for her, arguably best in slot with a few dupes. Her best vertebra is her 4th, which is brutal since I don't even want one of them, let alone 4. This also means she isn't very free-to-play friendly, though that's not to say she's useless without the dupes. The 4th one is just a substantial increase in her viability. She's a bit of a glass cannon since she'll be pretty squishy but be able to dole out pretty good damage, especially as the battle goes on. See, she scales with the stage due to her passive, which gives her stacks of tuning each turn, which in addition to scaling up her stability break damage, also allows her to do interception attacks, much like Macchiato, and giving her a permanent stack of tuning. That's right, the rest of her tuning stacks aren't permanent, since she will consume all of the temporary ones with her ultimate. A single target, 190% scaling nuke, and the more stacks of tuning you have before you use it, the better. So as you can see, she's going to be stacking these tuning buffs, cranking her crit rate and crit damage higher and higher as the battle goes on, moving clear across the battlefield each turn, breaking boatloads of stability damage. Sounds great. But she'll be moving less than Ulrid, with no elemental damage like Sharkry, all to do less damage than Macchiato, and not to mention the fact that we typically only have 5, 6, or 7 rounds in a match, and so that's not a lot of time for her to really scale up. And you won't want to play her on auto either, because the AI will run her straight into the thick of things and she'll just melt because she's so squishy. Verdict: stay away. Take this time to save. We're good with DPS at the moment. Most of you have gotten your QJs, and those that haven't have Macchiato, and even the free ones like Sharkry are great DPS. We just don't need Daiyan. Sorry. Well, I'm gonna fly. See you in the next one. Bye.